Hello, folks. Welcome to CounterSnipe. I'm Amar Rathore. I'm going to take you through in this demo, in this presentation, quickly through what CounterSnipe is. It's an IDS IPS system, but it's more than just an IDS IPS system because it had so many features that make the actual IDS functionality so much better. So very quickly, here we go. Once we logged on to the CounterSnipe system, installation is a separate thing, although we install, configure, and manage for you. So you don't need to worry about that. Once you've installed and configured the system, you end up here. Then here you have the dashboard, which is the first screen that opens, and it shows you, and it keeps refreshing every so often. Okay, and this dashboard shows you the picture of your network overall. So it shows the compliance summary, it shows you some assets that you can choose the number, how many you want to see on the front page. So the most recently discovered assets at the bottom. Okay, and also you see here is the most the events that are taking place, the most recent events that an event is an IDS alert. Okay, so you give it a rule set, you say, okay, if XYZ happens on my network, once you analyze the traffic and data on the network, if XYZ happens, I want to know about it, and that's your event. And then you can choose that event and then send that event via email to your admins so that admins know what's happening. So the idea being an idea is with this system is that it's a quick way to actually make sure that everything is as it should be on your network, that the wrong people are not accessing the wrong data, wrong resources on your network. Okay, so in config, you have sensor configure and sensor. Sensor being an IDS IPS system. You can have more than one IDS IPS system on your network and manage them. Risk database, let me quickly show you. The risk database keeps the rule set up to date. Okay, so all the IDS rules, the IPS rules, it will show you all of this information. When it was published, when it was downloaded, what the load status is, load result is, last successful, and so on. You can also set this to say poll hourly for updates. So every hour it checks our servers and then actually provides the update. So if I go back to the critical thing in configuration is that you configure the built-in firewall. So we built in a firewall within this. You can actually throw away your firewall that you have on your network. I recommend you don't, because you can use this alongside with that. That's double the protection, but you could. In the firewall function, which you access via going to the sensor and bringing it up, in the firewall function, you have all these options to decide what you want to do with the traffic. The first thing you want to do is lock the management port on this IDS system. So you want to lock it so that unauthorized people cannot break into this IDS IPS system itself. So the firewall is protecting itself as well. So here I'm saying only allow 172.20.10.1 access via ETH0 port. No other device is allowed access via ETH0 port. That's accepted. Then I'm also saying, so I can actually add a new rule and say IPv4 forward traffic, anything that's passing via this system, okay, send it all to IPS. Okay, I could just simply do that, and I would add that rule to the bottom of the chain, and I add it. It will simply say take any traffic and send it to IPS. Okay, there's just a simple forward rule, that is. So that way you can say ETH0 only allowed from this IP address, rest is from forward. And the rest of it is self-explanatory, and if you know firewall functionality, you can, or we will make the rules for you and we can set that up for you. Okay, so that's in the configuration. Other than that, the DNS, who to send email alerts to, and so on. The current rules, it also shows you what the current rule set is, what is actually currently active. Analysis. In analysis, we got asset groups and assets, and also events and incidents. Event being an IDS alert. Assets is important again. So once you configure the firewall saying, this is how you treat the traffic on the network, send this to my IPS engine and block the rest. and accept this from whichever IP addresses you would like to. Then the other thing is that in the analysis, we've got these all of these assets that we actually detect. In the assets database is everything that's got IP address, internal or external. You can set a filter, you can configure on the sensor itself and the internal database. So you could say, these are my internal IP addresses. That way our system knows how to treat an asset. So it then treats it as internal or asset. Here we have the first four. If you take first four, those four all belong in a group called servers. But the top three also belong in a group called specials. So you can have assets part of multiple groups. Then you can actually do a group-based scanning on an asset, okay? Or you can do an individual scanning. So if I take this one alone, this one asset alone, and I check that, and I can actually scan host again. I can also forget apps. So if I do forget apps, this app, say for example, I do forget on that one, it will forget that, and then I can rescan that way. And I can also set it to auto scan. Okay, and the auto scan would constantly will scan this asset at set times, better done at the sensor group levels, sorry, at the asset group levels. So you can actually set it to automatically scan the asset, and that way here rescan if inactive, or scan group, or scheduled scanning here. So I can say take this group of assets and you scanning every weekly, okay, and starting from midnight today. So that way you can. So what does that do? That actually port scans these assets and builds a profile of them. So it knows which ports are open, which ports are not open. That way, if there is a rule, IDS rule, that's monitoring for a certain type of traffic, and that traffic is going to this asset and going to attack that port, okay, then alert management in the configuration here, the alert management knows how to deal with it. The alert management then looks at that and says, aha, that is an event of high priority, okay, and in that case I want to raise an alert. I want to flag the host as compromised. I want to not suppress the signature for it. If it's medium event, I might not even want to flag the host as compromised, and then I can suppress the signature. What does suppress do? What does this do? What this does is it looks at an IDS alert, the event from the events that we logged in the last 10 minutes or last hour or whenever. It looks at that IDS alert, and it looks at where that IDS alert is coming from. And it looks at that asset, the server, the host that you've got, the SQL server or your web server or whatever you're hosting, even internal application servers. It will look at that and it will look to see if that application resides on that server, and also if the port is open on that. Depending on that, the alert is then issued or not issued. You can also suppress the signature. What does suppress the signature do? It says that you, after 60 minutes. So this will say, if it's a medium kind of priority, because every rule has a priority, if it's a medium priority, then suppress the signature for 60 minutes, i.e. give me a chance to deal with it. Okay, so that's that. So, and we keep the rules, IDS rules updated for you. You can produce reports. In reports, there is an extensive reporting feature, which you can also email automatically. So you can set here saying email it to me, and then email it to me at 5 a.m. every day, and then it will email you. This is the frequency as to how many days you want. So you can say, okay, every day or every 20 days or whatever. And then it will email you the report, the events based on your filters that you selected on top of that. Okay. You can create users and then you can give them different accesses here. Apart from that, everything is at the dashboard. We go back to the dashboard, and it's all accessible from the dashboard. So your IDS IPS system combines the firewall, combines the rule management, combines the assets on your network, and together uses all of that data to make sure your network is protected from the problems, from the spyware, the malware, the IDS events, the rules, the bad guys, the worms, all of the network-based problems that might appear within the traffic, the data that's flowing on your network, so that you can sleep at night. Thank you.